Hello, happy Friday, happy Friday, happy Friday, and welcome back to episode 4 of The Anatomy of Me. And you look at yourself and say, The Anatomy of Me. So I've been on this journey for some time now, and you should also be on this journey for some time now, discovering those key things about you, what makes you tick, what makes you angry, what makes you sad, what makes you happy, all of those things above. And so I wanted to get on here today and talk to you about the last video when I was telling you how my life was always expressive and loud, and I love doing amazing things. So we want to talk about the things that we allow to stop us from being us today. Yes, for many years, my life was so expressive, so loud. And of course, yes, I was opinionated. And like I said in the other video, that my parents did not know what was going to be coming out of my mouth when I spoke. They just looked at each other when someone asked me a question because I was just blunt and honest and sometimes brutally and wrongly honest, because sometimes there is a time to be silent. But a lot of times as we grow, people determine how we to act, how we to dress, what we should say, where we should go, what we should be and do in life, in our career path. People determine that, especially school systems. They determine that for us. And yeah, we fall for it because we think that they know best because they're leading us and we're expecting that what they tell us is correct, but not necessarily so. What if I told you that there is a safe place in being who you were called to be, opposite from what a test is trying to tell you that you are? Even your parents. I know, kids, I'm not trying to tell you to be disobedient to your parents. I'm telling you to sit down and have those conversations with your parents and be honest with them about what you want to do in life and what you want to wear and what you want to say and explain to them why. And if you can't explain to them why, just tell them that you just feel like that this is a part of who you are. Now, granted, if you're a minor and they tell you no, then listen to them because you will get opportunity to be who you were called to be. But just listen to them because eventually they will they will get it. I know my parents, for me, they did get it. My mom would always say, "Yeah, she's just a different kind. She's just a peculiar person," because I was very, very expressive in everything that I did. Even my mindset of where I wanted to go in my career was just not the norm for a female, for a black female, and for someone in the South, and for someone during that era. I'm 56 years old, so that was in the 70s era and 80s eras, and things that I did were not even created yet, or you haven't even caught up to it yet. Technology wasn't even existing like that then. And so I said and did a lot of things that people are like, that's just out of reach. Calm it down. So for a brief moment, I did allow others' opinion and what they say and what they did. I did allow it to stop me. And I tried to change it up and I tried to do something different and I tried to make people happy. But then something happened. One day I woke up just miserable and depressed, incredibly feeling heavy, and that had never been me before. I had never dealt with depression. I had never battled with being heavy and oppressed. I never dealt with that before. And it just came on me like a ton of bricks. When I mean a ton of bricks, I mean to where I really didn't want to get out of the bed. I didn't want to go nowhere. I didn't want to do nothing. I was sleeping late, and that was not normal for me. Sleeping late to me was normal, was like sleeping past 7:30 a.m. But I was sleeping till 11 p.m., 11:30 a.m. And there was times, one, I would get up, I would put my kids on the school bus, and then I'd go back to bed. I was extremely depressed and didn't even know what that was until a friend of mine, he's deceased now, Jimmy, he was actually staying with me and my children. He moved from another city and he was working with me, and his apartment didn't fall through once he got to our town. And so I rented him a room. And so it wasn't until he was like, "This is depression. Trina, I know what depression is, and this is severely depressed." And because when I first met you, this was not your norm. And so this is a depression. I was like, well, what am I depressed about? Because there was nothing wrong. My bills were paid. My kids were in school. I wasn't dating nobody at that time. And I was working and making pretty good money. I was a server at the time. And I was making at Quincy Steakhouse. So I was making really good tips. And for that time and era, that was good. So I did not have anything that would say you should be depressed. So one day he and I was sitting there talking, and we just got to talking about, our life stories and what we really wanted to do when we grow up and where we wanted to be and all that stuff. And I said some things, and he looked at me and he was like, "That's why you're depressed, because you're not doing that." So when he began to help me set some things in order, and this was in the 90s, this was like 96, 96, 97-ish. um, he began to help me put some things in order, in perspective, and in alignment with what I knew that I was called to be. And at that moment, my eyes was open. I began to shift and change my entire life. I began to go back to that 6 a.m., 5:30 a.m., get up and do what I needed to do mentality, and just really stay in a place like that. Now, through the years after that, yeah, things try to creep up, but I recognized it and I knew how to spiritually discern those things that were trying to take me out of the game. And when I mean the game, I mean take me from my calling, my purpose, my passion, the thing that the Most High called me to do. So, in studying the anatomy of me and in studying and discovering things about me, I know when those things are coming and I know when to fight them. So I want you to get back up again. I want you to discover those things about yourself. And I want you to really think about what it is that you want to do, where it is you want to go, what silenced you, what stopped you from moving forward. Let's deal with those things because the world need us to be in the positions that the Most High called us to be in, not the positions that the world said, you'll be a good doctor, you'll be a good lawyer, you'll be a good nurse, you'll be a good teacher. And those things are good. There's nothing wrong with those things if that's where you're supposed to be. So let's get in position. Let's fight for what is rightfully ours and do that. And do that. And you will see that things will lift from you. Will it try to come? Yes, things will try to come, but those things will lift from you. So I want you to have a good weekend. I want you to take this weekend before Christmas and just really just think about these things during the holidays. See how you interact with your family and your friends and see what emotions are triggered, okay? I want you to do that. For me, I'm just excited because I get to present a play on Sunday at our church. And I'm excited because I love a writing script. For a long time, I even stopped writing script until something inside of me was awakened. And I want that to be awakened for you. So be bold and unique. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. Rip off every label placed on you, especially the ones that you placed on yourself. And once again, welcome to this Bold Shift community. Merry Christmas.